Wow, I actually have a heartbeat. Congratulations on being accepted into vet school. I am sure you are absolutely buzzing right now. And if you're anything like me, your brain probably goes into this list mode where it's like, what do I need to buy? What do I need to get? Because you need to get your life in order before you start school. So I thought that I would create this little video in order to help you guys out, especially those of you that have been accepted into the University of Queensland at the Gatton campus, because I'm about to give you a lot of tips that I kind of wish I knew prior to starting vet school, and hopefully you'll feel a little bit more relaxed after watching this video and figuring out what you need to get and all that. Also, don't stress. The uni will send you an email with a pack of information, so you will be prepared for your first day of uni. Now that you're in and you have accepted your offer and you have set up your MySignet account with the University of Queensland, you are going to need to enrol in your courses. To do this, either Google UQ Vet Science course list, or you can click on the link which I will post with this video. As you can see, first year of vet school consists of 7 different courses. So you'll do 4 in your first semester and 3 in the second semester. For the first semester, you do Bioc 1011, which is Molecular Basis of Life, Vets 1018, which is Veterinary Professional Foundations, Vets 1025, which is Animal Management for Veterinarians, and Vets 1060, which is Animal and Veterinary Biology. Then in second semester, you do Agric 1041, which is Cell and Tissue Biology for Agriculture and Veterinary Science. You do Vets 1003, which is Digestion, Metabolism and Nutrition, and you do Vets 1021, which is Functional Anatomy of Locomotion and the Integument. I'll go through how to do the actual enrollment process now. This is the course list that you'll find if you just Google it. And I'm pointing out first year courses here, so remember those. Then go to MySignet and click on Enrollments. Once you do that, you're in the enrollment summary. Yours will look a bit different to this because you won't have anything that you're signed into. Click on Add Course, type in the course code, and then search it, and add course. Cool. So now you are all enrolled. You probably want to know what equipment you will need, especially for first year. I have a little listy list going on here. Throughout the degree, you will be doing lots of practicals. Sometimes they're in the lab, sometimes they're in the small animal centre, and sometimes they're with large animals. So you do need different equipment for each of those pracs. First up, you'll need a white lab coat, and it can basically be any lab coat that's long sleeve and button up at the front. If you have one already, that's cool, but if you want to get one with the logo from the University of Queensland, you can get it from the School Locker, which is a shop on campus in Gatton. You can also get logo-less ones at the same place. You'll need overalls or coveralls. I don't know which one we call them. I tend to call them overalls. And they need to be navy blue. You can get them with the UQ logo if you get them through the equipment scheme, which is run by a group of students at the uni, and you'll get notifications about that prior to starting vet school. Mine is an 82R size, and I would highly recommend trying on the overalls from students in years above you if you can, because their sizing can be a little bit tricky, and I know a lot of people ended up with way too big overalls. These are long-sleeved, as you can see. We do end up cutting one pair so that it's easier for pregnancy testing. You just cut the sleeves off, but that only ever tends to be in 4th year. You might want to think about getting a pair of short sleeves. But one thing I would definitely recommend is get lightweight overalls, because it gets hot and you get sweaty. So the heavyweight is pretty much a no-go, I would say. Also, I would recommend getting 2 pairs. You'll probably only need to use 1 pair in first year, because you only do large animal stuff like once a week, so you have time to wash it. But as you move through the degree, you will find that having 2 pairs is super helpful. You can also get the overalls somewhere else if you want, but most students do get it through the equipment scheme because it's super easy. In first and second year, you just wear your lab coat, so you don't need scrubs, but third, fourth, and fifth year, you do need scrubs. We have different colour codes so that everybody knows kind of who you are when you go work at the VMC, which is the vets on campus, just like a safety thing. And it kind of makes you feel good when you finally reach fifth year and you get to wear the maroon scrubs. In third year, you wear this colour, which apparently is sea spray. Fourth year, you wear this light blue colour. And fifth year, you wear your maroon. Well, everybody in Australia says maroon. This colour scrubs. I am a medium in all of, so both the tops and the bottoms. Don't know if that helps anybody, but there you go. And in terms of where you purchase them from, we all wear these RMF scrubs, but that's organised by your year reps when you reach that time, so it's all super duper easy. Also, we have a Scrubs Buy and Sell Facebook group, which you can get cheaper scrubs from. They're pretty cheap in the first place, to be honest. Ad break! That was a bit weird, but anyway. Hit that subscribe button because I have more helpful videos coming in terms of study tips, how I managed my time, that kind of thing, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. So, now that you've got your body covered for pracs, don't forget, wear a cap for pracs and sunblock and stuff because you don't want to get burnt. But yeah, okay, so now we got all this part sorted. You are going to need shoes for different practicals. For your labs, you literally just need a pair of covered shoes. They can't be heels or those ballet slip-on shoes, but they just need to be covered. Runners are usually pretty decent. For your large animal pracs, you're going to need work boots. This is also for your EMS placements and stuff when you go out to farms and all that. So it is worth investing in some pretty decent shoes. For my equine pracs mainly, I wore a pair of work boots. Mine were these Dublin riding boots because I horse rode, so I had them anyway. But there's those classic ones that look like this that are just work boots. I also really liked my pair of Ariat boots. This one. So I wore those ones mainly for my horse pracs. I didn't wear them to my cattle pracs because we had to, at the end of each prac, you have to disinfect your shoes, and the disinfectant's not so great for leather. So for those ones, I wore gumboots. You can get your gumboots from anywhere. I just got mine from Bunnings. Mine weren't steel capped or anything. You will need name badges for your practicals. I would highly recommend getting 2 because you are bound to lose one of them. I have often gone through the whole year with just one name badge and then found the other one, and it's so much better because then I'll lose the first one and get 2. That's all I can say. They're pretty decent, and everybody gets really excited when you get them because look at that. They say your name and that you're a veterinary science student. Woo! You'll also need a watch or a fob watch. I have recently got the Fitbit Versa 2 watch. I keep it on the 1 second. I keep it on the 60-second display thing. That did what? 60-second display thing, so that when I'm doing TPRs, I've got the little second hand and I can count up to a minute if I want to. Quick little tip for you. You can get fob watches through the school locker on campus as well, otherwise just any online store really, MediSave, MedShop, or just even Amazon. In first year, you have one practical on learning how to start suturing. You can get yourself a skin pad and suture kit in first year if you want, so you can practice just at home. I would say it's not super necessary because we do also have the Hub, which is a building on campus full of everything vetty, including fake animals, so that you can go practice your handling skills, practice your lab work, and practice your suturing. Otherwise, if you do want to get a skin pad, there's lots of different companies that sell them. I'm pretty sure I just got mine off Amazon. I would recommend that if you do get a skin pad, don't get cutting needles because they cut right through the skin pad and you can't use it for as long then because you're stuck with bigger holes than if you just had a different type of needle. It is important, however, to get a dissection kit. You can get a dissection kit / suture kit, like all mixed into one, which is pretty handy, and you can get that through the equipment scheme as well. You will definitely need that in first year, second semester, because you have wet labs for both digestion and loco. I'm sure you're also super excited to get a stethoscope because you feel like a proper vet student when 1, you've got scrubs, and 2, you have a stethoscope. You actually won't need one until 3rd year because previously to that, all the animal handling that you do in practical classes is to learn mainly how to handle them appropriately. And then in 3rd year, you start learning how to conduct clinical exams properly, and that's when you will need your stethoscope. I have this one. It is a Littmann Classic 3, which most people have. It's like a decent stethoscope, but it's not super expensive, so would recommend. I got mine from medisave.com.au, and I even got to have my name engraved on it. You can also get it from the school locker on campus, but there's not as many options with colours, and I'm not sure if there's as many options in terms of which type you can purchase. It's pretty cool. It's got like a dual head thing, so you can listen to small animals there, or smaller animals, and the larger animals using that side. That was something actually I didn't realise when I first got my stethoscope, because I chucked it in my ears, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna use it, and I'm so cool and stuff. But I think it was like already on this side. So that's the side that that actually really hurts my ears when I do that. That was silly. So I put this on my own heart because, I mean, of course you have a stethoscope, you're going to test it on your own heart, right? That's like when you go on Google Maps and you have the whole world that you can look at, but you just look at your house. Same thing. Chucked it on my heart, couldn't hear a heartbeat. I was like, do I just not know how to use a stethoscope? Turns out I didn't. You have to twist this around. So now it's on this side. Wow, I actually have a heartbeat. So don't think that you're stupid when you mess up using a stethoscope, because it's actually something that you have to learn how to do. And I often still find, well, maybe not so much now because I've used it a lot, but if you didn't chuck it in your ears the right way, if you chucked it in that way, rather than, can you see how they like face the little earplugs are facing that way. They're like facing towards you now, and now they're facing towards me, and you chuck it in when they're facing in that direction because it sits in your holes, it sits in your ears better, and you can hear things. But I also sometimes find, like, I don't know if I just have waxy ears or something, but a lot of my friends have agreed with me that sometimes you just don't hear it as clearly, and you have to do this like awkward little yawny thing to like readjust your ears, and then you can hear stuff. So honestly, I thought a stethoscope was going to be the easiest thing to use, but apparently it's not. Maybe that's also just me and my friends. Don't know. You are required to have some sort of electronic device because you do use them for some practicals, and also it makes life so much easier when you're in lectures. I personally use a MacBook Air, and I also have an iPad 6th generation, 128 gigs, if that helps anybody, with the Apple Pencil, and I'll talk about different apps that I use for that a little bit later. It doesn't matter whether you are an Apple user or a Windows user, have a tablet, have an iPad, nobody really cares. Everything is compatible. I would also highly recommend that you have a little notebook, like an actual notebook, and take that to practicals. I only realised that was a smart idea in 4th year, and I took lots of notes during the practicals, which meant everything stayed in my head a lot better, and I wish I had started doing that in 1st year. So that is my top tip to you. Take a notebook to practicals, write down notes while you're there, even if they're just like quick little scribbles. My handwriting can get atrocious, but honestly, atrocious handwriting over a memory that's probably not going to last as long, I would take the atrocious handwriting. I keep saying that all the information will be emailed to you or you'll get a notification about it. So I should probably tell you which email address it's emailed to and where you can get the notifications from. So you will get your own UQ email address. In terms of social media, we do have quite a bit going on. So at the University of Queensland, we have an association for vet students. It's called UQVSA, which is the University of Queensland Veterinary Students Association. It's an exec team, and they are a great port of call for any questions that you might have regarding vet school. They will set up a Facebook group for you, and it will be called BVSC Class of 20, whatever year you're graduating. So mine is Class of 2020. Woo! There is also another group that you'll be added to called the UQVSA Notice Board. You'll only get added to that if you get a membership with the UQVSA, which you can do at the start of the year as well. Basically just sign up, you get cheap tickets for events, and you get all the notifications. It's really good, actually. There's also a public page on Facebook for the UQVSA. It is under the University of Queensland Veterinary Students Association. Very creative, easy to find. Definitely give that a little follow, a little like, whichever one you do on Facebook. I should know. I was the social media rep. And go follow at UQVSA on Instagram. Now, there are a few other Facebook groups which are super helpful to be part of. I will chuck a link for them in the description box. Because Gatton is basically in the middle of nowhere and has a population of 8,000, and it's about an hour inland from Brisbane between Ipswich and Toowoomba. That's just the spiel I give everybody when they ask me where I study and they have no idea where Gatton is. But because that's where it is, you probably need a place to live. A lot of people do the commute from Brisbane. Honestly, I don't know how they do it. They're legends. I would be way too exhausted, but apparently people manage. You often have class that starts at 8 and ends at 5. Some days aren't quite like that, but there are days that definitely are like that. You kind of have to figure out whether you personally can manage that commute on top of the busy days. Some people choose to commute in from Brisbane by driving themselves. There is free camping. There is free parking on campus, so at least you don't have to pay parking on top of petrol. But if you don't want to drive in yourself, there is an inter-campus bus that runs from St. Lucia to Gatton and back. That inter-campus bus is for free. I'll chuck a link in the description box so that you can see the timetable of the bus service and so that you can see where you need to book your ride from. I personally chose to live on halls for the first 3 years of my degree. The Gatton campus has 4 halls. It has Shelton, Thine, Pitt and Riddell. I lived in Riddell for the 3 years in downstairs C, room RC11. If any of you end up living there, that was my room. I moved off halls at the start of my 4th year and lived with friends. I also reckon it's great if you do it that way, so halls first and then moving off with friends, because you know who you want to live with. I mean, you can do it the other way around, that's all good, but that was just personally how I would have preferred to do it, especially as I came over from a different country, so I knew literally no one or anything about the place. Got my first car, which was very exciting. Her name's Gloria. So, the living situations, if you're not going to be on halls, people mainly live in either Gatton, Forest Hill, which is known as Forrie, Laidley/Plainlands. Forrie is definitely more of a uni-type town. Lots of uni students, a couple pubs there. It's like 10 minutes from uni. It's quite sweet. And then Gatton and Laidley/Plainlands are a little bit more quiet. The uni itself has some really nice study spaces, and they will have some even better study spaces in about February, March of 2020, because they have redone the central walkway and it's going to look epic. Kind of jealous that I'm not going to really get to use them, but enjoy it, every future student out there. In terms of textbooks, I found that they weren't really that necessary to purchase. That's because the lecturers give you very comprehensive PowerPoints of the lectures that they gave you, and they also sometimes give you extra notes. Also, you can just loan the textbooks from the library, so it's often not that necessary. But I would say, if you are going to get textbooks, the ones that I would highly recommend, and it's probably actually great to get these ones, are Miller's Guide to the Dissection of the Dog and Dysack and Wensing's Textbook of Veterinary Anatomy. You'll need both of those for second semester of first year. And if you are interested in getting a book that will help you definitely for the rest of your career, I would suggest getting Singer's Pathways to Pregnancy and Parturition. I also have a few books and flashcards that I use, but I've also kind of started using them more since third year, and especially in my clinical years, so I'm not sure if they're super necessary for first year, but they could be worth getting anyway. So I have Dr. Gerardo Poli's Mini Vet Guide, which is amazing. I also have his radiology flashcards and the clinical pathology flashcards from him. And I also have this little book, Small Animal Medicine, which is like the Mini Vet Guide, but it's just like says things in a slightly different way. And it's got colours. So I guess it just depends. I use them both, love them both, highly recommend them both, especially for clinics. I would also recommend getting a VIN account. You can sign up for free while you're a student. If I could go back now, I would have used that a lot more throughout the degree. I'm using it heaps now that I'm in clinics, but I reckon it would have been smart for me to brush up on a lot of things or find out about new things by reading through the articles on VIN earlier on in the degree. Also, I personally haven't used it, but ivalearn.com is really good when you're learning anatomy, apparently, so that's probably a good one to check out while you're in first year. I also recommend getting a Plums subscription. It's like $7 when you're a student, because it's got all these drugs and you can like type in and it'll tell you all this information about it. Third year would be great to get it because you do a pharmacology course, and that would be very helpful. It's like got very specific notes for each drug, so it'll help with study. But I'm also using it heaps now that I'm on clinics, so probably you'd need it a bit later on than first year, but worth remembering at least. Back to talking about note-taking in lectures themselves, I found that my study habits changed every semester. My technique now is when I am in lectures, I take my iPad and I use the Notability app. You do have to pay a small fee, but I would say it's definitely worth it. There are some other app options such as GoodNotes and OneNote. So what I do is I download the PowerPoint and then I annotate the PowerPoint using my Apple Pencil during the lectures. And then I go home and I use my MacBook Air and I type up in Word the notes from the lectures and then anything that I've added onto it. And then for more difficult concepts, I try and write them in my own language, as my own wording as well. Not own language, I literally only speak English. And on top of that, I actually share the courses between 3 other friends, so we each take one course and write all the notes for that and then send them to each other. So that means that we don't have to spend as much time just typing up notes. And then at the end of the semester or just before the exam or something, I print out the notes. Sorry to all the trees, I have definitely destroyed rainforest with that. And I annotate the notes by highlighting and drawing pictures and stuff on them. And that's the way that I find works best for me with studying. Once again, congratulations. I am so chuffed that you have made it into vet school. And I hope that this video has kind of eased your mind a little bit. Maybe you've got your list organised now so that you know exactly what you need to get and kind of when you need to get it. Definitely hit that subscribe button. As I said earlier, there are more videos like this one coming. I'm going to do a video about study tips, especially relating to first year. Hang around as well, because by the time you reach third year, there will be a video on how to survive vivas. If you don't know what they are now, I can assure you, you will. Good luck, all the best. If you have an and Instagram, chuck me a follow. I would love to follow you back and see how you progress throughout this journey of veterinary science.